showtime. Woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. Silent and profiling. Woo, woo, it's live and in color. Woo!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report on the Buffalo Fambase Network. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the T.O.P. from the 313. And by my side is my main man, my toucan Sam, the one they call the Apex Man, Mr. Mikey. What's going on, brother?
Happy Monday, brother. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, man. And we are getting down to the nitty gritty, man. We are doing 30 through 11 tonight, Mikey. We got one more episode after this. And that's it. And we're on to training camp, man. How you feeling about that training camp? Finally.
I'm excited. You know, we've had 2 days into training camp. I've been catching up on a lot of the press conferences and all the little feedback that's coming out from all the great content creators out there, you know, sending out camp notes. I'm getting excited.
Dude.
You know, we're like 2 weeks away from our first preseason game.
Did you see this, by the way? I was talking to you this before the show, so I know you saw it. But I tweeted this out last night. I want to play for anyone who hasn't saw it already. I'm going to show it to you.
Josh Allen, have a great year.
Thanks
Peter.
A lot. Appreciate you. Oh.
For NBC Sports, Bills Camp, this is Peter King. All the best to you.
You still got it?
Yeah, we got it.
Thank you. He goes, oh. And bro, he was not taking his hand back, right? Some people would take their hand back. Dude, he stayed with his
That's
hand
not the
out,
first
dude.
time. It's not the first time that's happened to him.
Oh, what is this? Let's go Giants. Hey,
oh.
Whoa. If you want to tune in, that's cool. Hey, we don't mind.
You know what? I will tell you. With Shane and Dayball up in, you know, within the blue, I'm pulling for them. They're in the NFC. I hope they do well.
Yeah, I don't care. Whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
You ain't facing us anytime soon in no Super Bowl, but you know, you guys got a little bit to go. Got a quarterback you gotta figure out, you know. You got a quarterback situation you gotta, you know, figure out there. You got some time
at the very beginning stages.
Yeah, you guys are definitely in the beginning stage. But hey, I have nothing bad about the Giants. We should have beat y'all in a Super Bowl, but other than that, I got nothing. I got no hard feelings. LT is one of the greatest football players ever. So yeah, I got a little love for the Giants, not a lot, but a little bit.
I have a little love for the Giants for beating the
no
Patriots
doubt,
twice.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%, Mikey. It almost takes the sting away from the Super Bowl, almost, but not really.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that. I definitely enjoyed that they had the Patriots number. In both Super Bowls where the Patriots are favored and the Giants
and they ruined the perfect season.
Yeah, dude, right? That was unbelievable. But yeah, man, training camp. I want to get into training camp before we start the all-time Buffalo Bills player list. So first bit of news, Saffold in a car accident hurt some ribs there. I don't know if he cracked them or bruised them, but Brandon Beane said more than likely he'll be back before preseason starts. He'll be back in camp soon. So what's your thoughts about the Saffold injury there? Or car accident?
It's a bummer, you know, little disappointed that things like this tend to happen. However, it does open up some camp spots to let some other guys get some run to see what we got in some of these other guys for backups. I'd like to see him get back quickly so he can start getting the feel. Him and Dawkins can get the feel. As long as he's back by, I would say, week 2 of preseason, I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think he will. I don't even know if I'd rush him out there for preseason. He's a seasoned vet.
They just need to get the timing down between Mitch and Dion.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe have a rep, a quarter or something.
Well, I mean, even if he came back for preseason game 3 and went in there for a series, Just
Right.
get some kind of repetition with him.
I get what
Like
you're
seeing
saying.
back practicing. He doesn't need to play in the games as much, but get some of those practice reps in. So long as he's back before that last preseason game to where he gets some work, I'll feel more comfortable about that.
But hey, this is good for Doyle, who gets some added, practice time. Questenberry, yeah. So good for them to get ready, get them up to speed a little bit faster than maybe Saffel. Saffel, listen, like I said, Saffel's a seasoned vet. The only thing, like you said, maybe he just has to get familiar with who's next to him, right? Mm-hmm. Other than that, I think he'll be fine, right? I just do. I think he's going to step in and do his job. Kind of like Mitch Morse, who came in right away, as a center and did fine. There was no and Mitch Morse, if you remember, he was injured or he had the concussion right away. So I think he came in regular season, right? So, he was a vet. He handled his job without having a preseason work,
I mean, I think if it was Bates, I'd be a little bit more concerned because Bates needs that time on the right side.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an all-pro, Pro Bowler left guard who's been there for years. I don't think he's going to need as much. I mean, he needs a little bit of time to get used to the guys, but overall, I think he's going to be fine. He knows the O-line's coach and his tendencies. So it's not like a bunch of new stuff. I think I'd be more concerned if it was one of the other guys that or younger guys. But hey, it is what it is. What about McLeod? You heard about McLeod, right? Playing safety.
Playing very well too. I heard.
Yeah, had 2 picks today. They say he's more of a safety now because Brandon Bean went on. He had 2. He had his own press conference, and then he was on One Bills Live today with Brown talking about it. Yeah, talking about how they think his final position is going to end up being a safety. I'm like, hey, if it's another guy that can, push Hamlin and Johnson, and this is Johnson's contract year. There's no guarantee he's back next year.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Both of them in that spot. Both Poyer and Johnson are in contract years in that spot.
You're talking about who? Jaquan, right? Yeah. I could definitely see him taking over. I mean, if he's playing, but remember, don't get too excited. The pads aren't on yet. Right.
No, I know.
So
I was just thinking more about.
But it is good. I mean,
5 safeties on our roster right now.
No, and it's good to know because it is good to know. Dane Jackson, by the way, looked good. He had a good breakup versus Stefan Diggs on one of the plays I saw. The other big news, Mikey, which I already knew he was going to come, but Jordan Poyer's at camp, right? Yep. He showed up. He was there, and his agent Drew Rosenhaus is in the building. Which is a really positive sign to me. That says that Brandon Bean and Rosenhaus maybe are talking and something is a brewing. I think they get something done. I just do. I have a feeling they're going to get it done. I think Poyer wants to be here. What do you think about that?
He's come out and said he wanted to be here. He talked about it. Same with Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox said he just bought a house in Western New York. What's going on, Chewy? How you doing, bud? Dawson Knox just bought a house in Western New York. He says he wants to be here long term. So a lot of these guys are coming out and saying it. Rosenhaus being in town, I think that's positive. You can look at it from a positive standpoint. Another thing that I read today that's kind of off that topic is Roquan Smith, who was also drafted the same year as Edmonds, is holding out and isn't practicing, waiting for a contract. We're not having that problem in Buffalo.
No. We don't really have. People, they want to be here. Now, I know Von Miller doesn't like the toilet paper, from what I heard. The toilet paper's a no-go.
Stefan misses his bed. Stefan misses his bed.
You would figure, Mikey, that they would get these guys better stuff. Don't be so. Are they getting them Family Dollar Tree toilet paper? What's going on?
I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's single ply or double ply. But who knows? Maybe Vaughn has a sensitive,
specific, right?
And he likes a certain 4-ply. Who knows?
He's like, what the hell is going on?
Most of the talk was about toilet paper yesterday. But let's be honest. If that's the issue,
and turkey burgers are good.
turkey burgers, and toilet paper.
Right.
We're off to a good start. That's our biggest concerns.
We are. By the way, so I told you Rousseau's looking good too. He had a couple good plays, and man, he's bulked up, huh?
He has.
I told you.
I read a stat this morning. I don't know where I saw it. It might have been on Twitter. That he actually has the highest stop rate of any rookie in like the last, like what they say, last 15 years or something like that. Better than the Bosa's.
Wow.
You know, all of them. He had the highest for a DN. He had the highest stop rate.
Oh, Chewy coming in with a super chat. Thank you, Chewy. What Poyer deal can you guys live with? Go ahead, Mike. I'll let you answer that.
I don't think we should go over 15 a year. If it's under 15 and under, I think we're good. If he goes over 15, I'll be concerned because we're starting to run out of cash.
Right. I'll tell you what, man. I'm almost thinking there's a lot of people that say the cap is bullshit, right? Like,
well, you can keep kicking it.
No,
down
I'm just saying, like in general, the cap,
yeah.
like people. Some people are like, there is no cap, like it's phony. But
there is a cap, but you can move the money years out.
So I'll tell you what players like the most, at least from what I've seen as a football fan. Guaranteed they like money. They like the guarantee, right?
Yeah.
So it's not so much always about the line. Some people get confused on the whole 6-year, 7-year deal. It's not always like that. You got to really kind of read between the fine lines, right? I think with Poyer, I think they give him somewhere around 13.5, a season.
But the question is, what can you live with? Not what do you think you get, what can you live with?
Well, what I can live with is 14. I can live with 14.
Okay.
I'm good with that, but I don't think they'll give him. I think they're going to settle around that 13 to 13.5. And I think, like I said before, I think they give him a 4-year deal, but there's a way out in 3. You get what I mean?
Okay.
Some tricky kind of contract like that. So it's really technically a 3-year deal, but 4 years. And the way he's playing, Mikey, he probably could play live out his contract here. I mean, Von Miller's saying he's going to do 6, so we'll see. You know, we shall see. But I have no problem with that. Listen, if we're 4 years in, and let's just say hypothetically, I know we're speaking down the road, but 4 years in, and Von Miller's just tearing shit up still, right? Go ahead onto your 5th year. Like, I wouldn't mind that. Go ahead and live out your contract. But Brandon Beane wrote it up and just in case, which I get it. So really, technically, it's like a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
And I think they do that with Poyer, and I think I would be good with 14. I'm
tack on that extra year to spread out the bonus money.
Exactly.
I can see that.
And I think he gets a good. I think he gets a good signing. I think he gets a good guarantee.
So with that, if Poyer signs the extension. How long do you think it's before Micah signs it to match him? Because Micah has next year.
Yeah, I think Micah. If you remember, we talked about this. I think 3 weeks ago. I said I have a feeling that they're going to kind of make it where they both stay around because it's just the way it works with those two guys, right? So I have a feeling if they get the Poyer deal done, they probably talk to Micah and do something maybe following season. They probably can't do it this season, but maybe they do something following season where it's like a 2-year extension with some kind of good bonus. Yeah, with incentives or something.
Yep.
Remember, incentives are everything. You make a Pro Bowl, you make an All-Pro. I guarantee it's something like that where those guys are basically working together. Like the contracts are even, Steven. Like they're staying on the same.
Because they've had them separated by a year. That's how they have been doing it. But I would love to see them both get locked up for the next 3 years.
100%. Yeah. Listen, 3 years is not, the guys. I still think they're playing at a high level.
Jordan's 31, right?
Yeah,
Jordan's 31. He'll be 34 at the end of that.
He's only gotten better since he's been in Buffalo.
You have to remember, a lot of years he didn't have tread off his tires too.
Yeah, and he had the early injuries in Cleveland, but he hasn't had anything in Buffalo, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm like, oh man, Mikey, I tell you, I don't know. Boyer's been hurt. He's only played 8 games and, he's missed 4 games a year before. No, man, that dude's always available. So, yeah, man, I would definitely give him the extension. I would be all up for it. I tell you what deal I think doesn't get done. I've been saying it. It's going to be tough, Mikey. The Edmonds. I think Edmonds is going to want that money, man. I think they're going to have a choice to make when it comes down to paying to Poyer, paying to Dawson Knox, paying Ed Oliver. They already gave the 5th-year option to, but they're going to have to eventually do a deal. And Edmonds is going to probably want that money.
We're going to lose somebody at some point.
Yeah, it's going to have to. And I think, oh man, it's just tough. I like Edmonds. I do, but
he's not worth that top.
Right. Like you got to put your prioritize. Like if we were to write a list right now, which we're not, but if we were to prioritize players that we really, really want back, that we feel like is going to get this team to the next level and has a high ceiling, I would say Dawson Knox, right? Ed Oliver. I'm not saying Edmonds doesn't have a higher ceiling because he's still growing. But I like those guys ahead of him. I just do. And I think they could be better deals. A little, than what maybe Edmonds will, get out there. I can see Edmonds going to like Pittsburgh and teaming up with his brother.
Well, they're saying this is his brother's last year in Pittsburgh. I can see him.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Because this is his last year too, and he might be on his way out.
Wow, that's interesting.
Because they just paid Fitzpatrick in Pittsburgh. The other safety, they're not going to break off big money for Trey.
So here's the thing with Edmonds, Chewy. I think, listen, Edmonds is super young still. There's guys coming out and drafted at his age, and he's been in the league, what, 4 seasons?
Years. This is
right.
5.
Exactly. So the only problem I have with Edmonds is he's not a playmaker, I guess you could say. He does his job out there. But you could kind of say that with Trey because Trey's not getting interceptions either. So when you say that about Edmonds, Edmonds not making a sack. Edmonds not getting a turnover, right? He's not causing a fumble, getting an interception. But Trey doesn't do that. He's not a turnover machine either, but he plays really, really good. And I think Edmonds really plays really well too. He's usually our leading tackler every season. But I think Bills fans want more. Right? Am I right there, Mikey? They want maybe a turnover. They want a sack.
Well, the problem is he gets his hands on things because Chewy calls it perfectly. He's stone hands because he's probably dropped 10 picks in the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, V Podcast? How you doing, bud?
Oh, that's Captain D.
Okay. Captain D's
my Saturday night. Captain D, man. Welcome, Captain D. I appreciate it. Finally, guys, by the way, the V Podcast coming soon. This season, he will be debuting the V Podcast, which will cover the Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, just a bunch of stuff. So shout out to Captain D. He's on our Saturday night AFC Shakedown show. Tune in this season. So thank you, Captain D, for coming on board and hopping on the chat.
Yep. So, the last of it. So ultimately, I would love to see them all come back. All of them. I would. If we had to rank where we wanted the resigns, Edmonds would be on my lower priority list. You know, I think Knox is super important. I think Oliver should be number 1 actually on the list. We have him for another year. I think Poyer should be up there because we have some young corners that they help. Like we can do so many different things with our defensive scheme because of the 2 safeties we have.
Yeah, I think Poyer, like we were talking about, I think the Poyer deal, believe it or not, I think that gets done soon. This season, I do believe that. It may even happen before the season starts. Ed Oliver, since they already gave him the extension, the 5th-year option, or whatever. Pickup. Yeah, I think they'll work on that deal next year. For sure. Okay. That's why they already they handle that part. And then you got the Dawson Knox deal coming up. That's going to be an interesting one too. Will Dawson Knox take a team-friendly deal to stay with Josh because they are really close? Or will he go for the money somewhere? Because I believe he can probably get paid somewhere else a little bit more. Kind of like how Matt Milano probably could have gotten paid somewhere else a little bit more, but he chose to stay in Buffalo, take a little bit less. What do you think? You think Knox takes like a team-friendly deal to stay with Josh?
I think he'll get some money, but I think they'll structure it as more of a team-friendly thing, much like Milano and Trey and Dawkins and all the guys. Like even Josh's was team-friendly. He got paid. Diggs is still team friendly. He didn't ask for the top dollar. You know, he so I mean they got money. That's the one thing about the guys that are here with Buffalo is they get paid in the top range. They're not looking to set the market. You know,
who do you got here? Pick 2 guys. Chewy's asking from D and offense
that are gone next year.
Yeah,
from the offense, Saffold, and
sure.
I mean OJ Howard's kind of low hanging fruit. But I think it'll be Crowder. I think Crowder's gonna have a big year and he's gonna move on. So I think it's gonna be Saffold and Crowder, and then on defense, something's telling me it's gonna be Edmonds. And then it'll be someone along the lines of someone like Shaq or AJ or one of those types that will be gone.
I agree. I think on offense, unfortunately, Singletary. Even though I
didn't even think about Singletary.
Yeah,
he didn't even come to mind.
I would hope he would return back, but they're not. I think they got different plans. And honestly, I'm a Singletary guy, so regardless wherever he goes, I'll be rooting for him. Yeah. But I just think that they probably can, because I think he's going to have a good season. So that's why I definitely think they're probably not going to be able to afford him. And good for Singletary probably at that. And we'll see what happens. But I think he's probably gone. And Saffold for sure. I don't see Saffold coming back. On defense, I don't think Edmonds is going to be back. And I want to say, who else on defense? Shaq Lawson. I don't think I think Shaq Lawson's already kind of on the bubble, but I think he makes the team this year.
I don't. I think Shaq Lawson's going to be.
I agree. I just think he's on the bubble, but I think he makes the team. We'll see how it plays out. Or AJ Epinesa is gone or maybe traded before the season starts.
I don't think so. I was listening to Bean's press conference.
I know.
He's like we love him in the building. Like all that comes from
but
outside.
Could that be trade kind of bait though? We love him, good guy.
I mean, they did say the same thing about Shady. Shady's our starter. Shady's our starter. Shady's our starter, and then he was gone.
Right. It's smart.
Who knows?
I heard. His rookie year he didn't get to practice because of COVID, and then we had him lose the weight, and then he came in, and and we saw some good sign. You never know. Listen, you're telling me if a deal didn't come through over the phone, Beam wouldn't think about it. Of course he would. He's a GM. That's his job. So interesting, very interesting. But listen, if all the players right now that haven't really taken a next step, I would say it's AJ on my list. As far as the rookies, like past drafts that are kind of just like stuck in limbo, I would say everybody kind of took a step forward and he kind of just stayed neutral. I don't think he took a step back. I just think he's staying, right? Am I right there? Kind of just staying.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't played bad, but he hasn't played good. He's done.
He's shown flashes. He hasn't put it together consistently.
Right.
Odds that we grab Hayden before the season starts. I think it's 60-40. That we don't.
That we don't. Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think it's 60-40 that we don't. Frazier came out and talked about it and said they're hoping Trey might be ready week 1. He actually he threw that out there. But if not, Dane Jackson seems to be having a decent camp, or a good camp so far. I mean, it's only 2 days.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll really come down to what Elam looks like, because I think if Jackson and Elam look, competent inside the preseason, I don't think we go out and grab a
I agree with that. Why spend the money that you don't really
because he talked about Tim Harris as well, who's a veteran. Who's on our roster that could be who could be
very possible
CB3.
Very possible they don't, or maybe they listen. Very possible Hayden doesn't even sign with anyone, and he's just sitting around in case of an injury, and God forbid we get one. Maybe we sign him if that happens. You know what I mean? That which is very possible. This is the NFL. Players get injured, right? It could be the small stupid thing like a 2-week injury, do a whatever, bicep, whatever the hell happened. Then you can talk about, okay, we'll get you on a 1-year deal real quick. You know what I mean?
Like I thought it was closer to 50-50 to start camp before camp started, but now that we're a few days in and hearing that Elam is working with all the guys. He's already going one-on-one with Steph Diggs. Dane's looked good in the first couple days. Granted, no pads on, but he's still making plays against Stefan. So I think it's closer to I think it's dropped a little bit. I think it's closer to 40% chance that we have to go out and get a veteran. It really all depends on what timeline they're going to put on Trey.
Real quick, guys, before we're going to start into this 30 through 11 because we are almost 30 minutes in. We haven't started yet, but we're going to start now. But I just want to say Friday Night Lights will be at 8 p.m. starting the first week of preseason. So we will be on the day before we play our first week in preseason, me and Mikey, at 8 p.m. and we'll be on Mafia Sports Report and Buffalo Fambase.
That's August 12th.
August 12th. So August 12th at 8 p.m. Look for me and Mikey, Friday Night Lights, Mafia Sports Report and Buffalo Fambase. And then I got some other updates that I'm going to be giving you guys as just check me on Twitter. I'll give you guys the updates as they go on.
Chewy,
what's going on, Mikey?
That's a good question. Who's the dark horse to make the 53?
Ooh, that is a good. I got to think about that. Dark horse.
You know what? Let me think about that as we go through, and we'll answer that at the end of the show.
Yeah, that's a tough
we got to
one.
get this thing started.
I will think about that, and we will end that at the end of the show. Chewy, stick around. But I will say this: there is so much good. There's a lot of good talent on this team. There's going to be players that we have to let go, and they're going to be picked up right away. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's like if there's any problem in Buffalo right now, is maybe we have too much talented players that can't make the team. And of course you say put them on a practice squad. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
they're going to get picked up, right? You can only So I'll have to think about that. We'll get back to that
at the end of the show.
V podcast. Saw Trey White working out today. Looked in shape. Tough injury. Yeah. So Pat D actually went through a similar injury playing basketball, but his was really bad too. Trey White, as you know, ACL, man, that every player is different. Every body is different. Right now he was like working out on the side with the training, with the wheel, with the bicycle. We'll see. They say it's coming along. He had the surgery in December. So it's been what, Mikey? It's been about 6 months, 7 months. What is that?
Almost 7 months. Yeah, because he had it in the beginning of December, so it's been almost 8 months.
Football's about a month and a half away.
Yeah, so it will be 8 months, August 13th, because he had the surgery December 13th.
Okay, so let's say 9 months before the almost first season, a little right. I think the first game is September 9th, I think. That's what I was saying, man. It's gonna be close, man. It is gonna. Close. It is. I really don't know on that. I'm gonna be on. We touched base last week, me and you, Mikey, and I think maybe I'm leaning towards what you were saying, but I don't think week 1. I'm gonna say something like week 2, 3.
Well, if they put him on the IR, if they keep him on the PUP, was it like 6 or 8 weeks or something like that? Yeah. If it's IR, it's 4 weeks.
Correct. But I think if they feel like they could put him in week 2, week 3, they're not going to put him on anything. Yeah. They're just going to keep him out week 1 and maybe put him in week 2, like slowly, like we were talking about, just see how he feels out there. I don't know if they're just going to put him in week 1, like without any kind of, because remember, if he's ready to go week 1, that means he's been practicing. Like, I mean, full 100% going at it in pads. And I don't know if he's doing that. I just don't.
Well, he's not doing it right now, but we're still.
No, but I mean, we're talking.
Still a month away.
But it's training camp now. Like it's now. Like you're telling me in a month. You're telling me in 2 weeks he's going to be out there in pads. Like maybe. I don't see that.
Maybe
we'll see. I'll tell you what. If he's out there in pads in 2 weeks, then I will say he's starting week 1.
I would say if he's out in pads, say if he's in pads by preseason game 3, there's a chance he's
100%. 100%. If he's in pads, I 100% agree. But if he hasn't been in pads, taking physical contact by that time, and he's only doing kind of light still workout out there, then ain't no way you're seeing him week 1. Ain't no way. Yeah. But let's get into this.
Okay.
Let's get into this top 100 players of all Buffalo Bills of all time. and we are going and do a recap right now. 50-31. Mikey, go ahead.
All right. Last week show, number 50 came in Brian Mormon, 49 George Sims, 48 Eric Wood, 47 was Micah Hyde, 46 was Jordan Poyer. I'll tell you, as much as I love those guys, I felt like we could have moved them up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
However, it is what it is. They fell where they fell this time.
Yeah, okay.
They're still current. They're still growing, so I can see them being higher on the next list. Number 45, Joe Cribbs. 44, Albert Dubinin. 43, Booker Edgerson. 42, Edgerson. I can never say that guy's name.
I think it's Edgerson, but I can.
Edgerson? Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
42, Steve Christie. One of the best kickers ever. That dude was money.
100%.
41, Henry Jones. 40, Jerry Hughes. I'll tell you, Jerry landed kind of lower on the list than I thought. I thought he should have been a little bit higher as I went back and looked at a lot of. He didn't get a lot of recognition, like a lot of Pro Bowls and things like that. But his numbers are elite for the time spent in Buffalo.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was telling you when we were talking about Jerry. I think fans are a little bit
underrated
too tough on him.
Yeah,
he's
underrated.
BillsMafia was a little bit too tough on him. He put up really good numbers on some bad teams, man. You know, it's not his fault that he got older as when we got better. I mean, it is what it is. He's still producing. Yeah, go ahead, Mikey.
39, Fred Jackson. Oh, he should have been higher on the list. I'm telling you. He really should have been higher on the list. 38, Lee Evans. 37, Jack Kemp. 36, Butch Bird. 35 was Ted Washington. 34, Stefan Gilmore. I think he was too high on the list. He should have been
100%. That's 50s,
the one that 60s. 33, Jerry Butler. 32, Reggie McKenzie. 31, Trey White.
Nice. All right, guys. So here we go. We're going to get 30 through 11 tonight, and we're going to start it with number 30. And here we go. Coming in at number 30, Will Wolford.
Will Wolford played from 1986 to 1992, offensive tackle. Two-time Pro Bowl selections, 90 and 92. Member of the NFL's 1986 All-Rookie team. Started 102 games he played. All 102 games he played for the Buffalo Bills. Man, we had some great tackles during that time that like backed up. Because then right after that, Howard came in. You know, it was just like, and Fina came in. And it was just like one after another. We had all these tackles during that time. It went from one to another and had elite guys. It was awesome.
Oh, dude, I know. This is a guy that didn't miss games. Yeah. Very tough at that position not to miss football games. You got to be one. Trust me, he was hurt. He just played through it. There's a don't get it confused, guys, right here. It wasn't like this guy was just the luckiest man on earth. He was just playing through probably pain and doing a hell of a job. And that's why he was an all-rookie team. And that's why he was a Pro Bowler. And that's why he's number 30 on this list. And he was with the Super Bowl teams. He protected Kelly. He made blocks for Thurman Thomas. Just a hell of a football player. Love Will Wolford.
Yeah, and we went from him to Fina, both guys who made the top 100 list. It's awesome.
Yeah, bro.
Like we had excellent bookends back in those days.
Yep, 100%. Let's see here. Chewy coming in. Smart as hell. Bench press nut. Yeah.
Strong as an ox.
Chewy coming with it tonight. All right. Anything else on Wolford?
No, I think that kind of covers it.
All right. Let's go moving on. Number 29, Shane Conlon.
Shane Conlon, years 1987 to 1992, linebacker, 3-time second-team All-Pro and Pro Bowl selection, 88, 89, and 90. Defensive Rookie of the Year in 1987. Member of the Bills' all-time team. Linebacker during those championship runs, those Super Bowl runs. You know, he was
dog.
He's another underrated guy who just put up numbers.
Yeah, a dog that led the defense with Bruce Smith and all of them to Super Bowl runs, who did his job, came to work. Member of the, like I said, rookie team, 87, member of the All Bills team. So I'll tell you what, at least the Bills honor this man by putting him on the All Bills team. Man, and an All Pro and Pro Bowl. I mean, this dude did it he did it. He earned all of what he got playing in Buffalo. And yeah, kudos to Shane Collin at number 29. Well deserved.
Absolutely.
Well deserved. Anything else on Shane?
Nope.
All right, going on. Number 28, Lashon Shady McCoy.
LaShawn McCoy, years from 2015 to 2019. He had 4 years with the Bills, 3-time Pro Bowl selections, 15, 16, and 17. Ranked 6th in team history with 3,814 yards and 9th in rush TDs with 25. He's a 2-time first-team All-Pro in his career and 6-time Pro Bowl selection. I believe he's a future Hall of Famer. We got him at the tail end, but man, he had some electric years for the Bills. It's sad. He kind of falls in the same line with Jerry Hughes. He just missed out on the Bills being good.
Yeah, he was here. Allen's rookie year.
Well, he was here training camp Allen's rookie year. Right?
No, he was here
Allen's rookie year.
He was here 2018 because we drafted. No, I'm sorry. No, yes, he was. No, let me take that back. So we drafted Singletary in 2019, correct? No, he was here. He was with Allen because we drafted Singletary in 2019, and that's when we cut
Shady.
Yeah, so Shady was with Josh Allen in 2017. 2018.
2019
so,
when we drafted him.
And that's when Allen, so he was still kind of running, but he was kind of the focal point, but we were a bad team. He was the focal point. We had no receivers. We had a horrible offensive line. Yeah.
That first year.
No Richie there anymore. Like everything that left in 20, like when Richie left, all that, like
Wood got
it just
hurt.
was kind of, it was kind of downhill from there as far as like we were rebuilding. The facts are the facts. We were rebuilding, and it came down to money. And I understand. I understand why we cut him. There's a lot of money. And you guys, listen, you saw what he did. He won a Super Bowl.
2.
But he didn't play. Right, 1, 2, you're right.
Bowls.
Chiefs and Tampa, right? Am I right on that? Chiefs and Tampa. Okay.
Didn't play in either game.
Right. But you saw that it wasn't like they used him like a lot. Like you could see he was fading off by that point. And that tells you right there, it was a smart move by Brandon Beane at that time. But dude, hell of a player.
I don't know. He had more juice than Frank Gore had that last year.
He did, but Frank Gore also wasn't 8.5
million. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying he wasn't better than Frank Gore at the time. I'm saying the money wasn't. But I do got a clip of speaking of Shady. I'm gonna go ahead and play that right now for you guys.
McCoy waits patiently, driving up the middle. Shady's going to score. Shady's going to score. Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown, Buffalo!
Cutting back, disappears on the other side of the field before you know it, making people look silly.
You get Shady McCoy in space, and he can turn the game into a video game. Here's McCoy. First and 10. McCoy, first down and more. Still going. 20, 10, 5, and he's in. 48 yards as McCoy gets Buffalo into the end zone. Here is McCoy up the middle with some room. McCoy, he is gone. Touchdown Buffalo, and that'll do it. There is a flag down in the end zone.
I think one of the Raiders might have come and swiped the ball out of Lashon McCoy's hand.
Boy, Mikey, he had burst.
He was electric, man. He was electric.
And the way he had, like, they were talking about it, I had to cut it. But anyways, he held the ball with one hand.
Mm-hmm.
No other play. Listen, if you're a running back, you do that. But everyone except McCoy, coaches are going to get on that ass. They would never allow.
He never fumbled. That was the thing.
That's what I'm saying. But anyone else, I'm just saying, like, they're not going to do that. Like, I don't care who you are. But with McCoy, he just didn't fumble. He knew how to do it, and he would trick defenders. They'd be looking at the ball, and he would just cut on a dime, man. And he was gone, man. Like, he had that
he had
one
that
cut.
gear. He had that gear.
And that's the one thing that, like, I love Motor Singletary, and I think Singletary, he has that cut available. Like, he's a lot like Shady with the cutting, but he doesn't have the burst.
Doesn't have that second gear to pull away.
Yeah, he has enough to get like 10, 15, maybe
20.
if he had 20 even. I've seen him go 40, but he gets caught up. He just doesn't have the wheels, But McCoy had it all. He was the total package, and I think he's borderline Hall of Famer. But I would say, in my book, he's a Hall of Famer. But I could see why it could be a debate on that. But I would put him in if I think
he had enough stats from his Philly days. And he played with some bad Philly teams too. You know what I mean?
Dude. Yeah.
Like he was a Marshall Faulk type of running back, the do-it-all running back. He just didn't play on a high-octane offense. He did a lot of the work by himself, and then he came to Buffalo and had no help, and put up tons of numbers here. I mean, he's 6th in our record books, and basically like 3.5 years. Because that last year, I don't know if I want to give him a full year, knowing that he had no offensive line and nobody taking any focus away from him.
Nothing.
So he was electric. He definitely deserves to be in the top 30 of all time.
100%. And when we got him, that was such a big deal.
It was. We got him for Kiko straight up.
Kiko Alonso, I know, who was such a
Chip Kelly.
He's a bad player. He was just in a wrong.
Thank you, Chip Kelly. Thank you.
All right. Anything else on Shady?
We're good.
All right, let's move on to number 27. Coming at number 27, one of my favorite players ever, Terence Mcgee.
Terence Mcgee played from 2003 to 2012. He was a cornerback and kick returner. 2-time second-team All-Pro selection, 04 and 05. Pro Bowl selection in 04. Bills all-time leader in kick returns, 207 yards, 5,450, and TDs with 5. In a game in 2005 at Cincinnati, became the first player in NFL history to have a kickoff return and an interception return for a touchdown in the same game.
Dude, I remember watching.
I love that guy. Started out as a returner, as a special teams guy, and worked his way into being a really good defensive back.
Dude, he in my book, he's underrated.
Absolutely.
I don't think he's talked about in the NFL world as much as like maybe Bills fans would. But Terence Mcgee was a do-it-all guy who was a hell of a corner, and he was kick returning. So they could have been like, "No, I don't want to kick return. I'm just corner." No, bro. I mean, I'll do everything. I'll punt return. I'll kick return. I'll make plays on defense. Bro, he was so electric. And I remember that Bengals game like it was yesterday. I was in Michigan, like visiting family, and it was on TV here. And I was like, oh, thank God, because back then there was no Sunday ticket. So in Florida, I could only watch games that were televised, if we were going against the dog. So they happened to show the Bengals game. And, bro, it was so much fun, Mikey, watching that game with Mcgee. I was like, oh, my God, this guy's doing everything to win us this game. Like, it was the Mcgee show. And, oh, man, it was so much fun, man.
He was so good.
Dude, it was awesome. I actually got a clip here. I'm gonna go ahead and play Mcgee now.
Field goal gave Cincy a 17-13 edge, but the lead didn't last long. On the ensuing kickoff, Terence Mcgee bolted up the sideline for a 99-yard touchdown, and just like that, Buffalo led 20-17. But with 46 seconds left, the Bengals' hopes were dashed as Mcgee intercepted Palmer's pass and ran it back 46 yards for a score. With the 37-27 win, the Bills improved to 5-10, while the Bengals fell to 11-4.
Sport brings to mind Mark was in the Hall of Fame, but he said, and then my Hall of Fame coach, my dad, Terence Mcgee, the return. A good kick returner. Mcgee hit the opening. Mcgee has the kicker to beat. He's past him. Being chased down by Sam Hurd. Will not catch him. Touchdown, Buffalo!
There is Terence Mcgee, one of the NFL's best at returning kickoffs. Mara hits the ball deep, and Mcgee will bring it out. He's quick. Across the 20. Across the 30. He's not done. Race is on. He could go. It's over. There's no flags. The distance looked like 105 yards.
Bro, he was so fast.
He was. He had crazy good vision too.
Whoa, dude, he hits the hole. He's gone, bro. There's nobody by him.
Like
he's gone.
You saw the one where he cut it up into the middle of the field, went left again. It caught the sidelines and was gone.
Dude, the kicker was like, I'm not catching this guy.
Yeah.
Like, bro, and good on defense. Like I said, it wasn't just about kick returns. This guy was an all-around solid player who just doesn't get enough credit as at his position and what he did. Except for us. We're giving him number 27.
He played on bad
might
teams.
Have been higher.
He played on bad teams.
Bad teams. Another guy, it's on the drought years that probably could have went somewhere else and won a Super Bowl.
I mean, if you look at it, he's a 2-time All-Pro select, second-team All-Pro. So he got recognition on bad teams, which is hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
How many 100-yarders?
Dude,
he had
two right there.
He had a 99 too, and he had a 99 on there too.
Dude, that dude, and I didn't even look at the punt returns. I'm sure he had something on there too. Like this dude was just a all player.
Yeah, I just looked up all his kick returns and numbers and stuff. I didn't even look at the punt stuff.
Yeah,
but fantastic player, deserving of the top 30, underrated in the NFL circles, but not within BillsMafia.
100%. All right. So, anything else on McGee?
Let's move on.
All right, let's go to number 25.
Nope, 26.
I'm sorry, 26. Okay, let's go on 26. Number 26, Aaron Shoble.
Aaron Shoble played from 2001 to 2009, defensive end. Second team All-Pro selection in 06, two-time Pro Bowl selections 06 and 07. Ranked second in team history to only Bruce Smith in sacks with 78. Also had 483 tackles, 21 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions, and 8 fumble recoveries. The dude was a one-man wrecking crew during really bad years for the Bills, and played his whole career with the Bills.
Yeah,
never wanted to leave.
Another drought player lost in the
lost in the wasteland.
Yeah, lost in the wasteland of Buffalo. Man, dude, I remember when we got him, and I was like, man, this guy, he's legit. He was legit from the beginning. Like like he had such a high motor, man. And he was exciting. Like he was an awesome player to watch. He was with us his whole career, like you said. I believe 8-9 seasons. And just look, second in team history, and we've had some hell of players come through Buffalo, and he's second behind Bruce Smith. That tells you
only 100 behind Bruce Smith.
No, more than 100. 100 and what?
No.
22?
Bruce Smith, Bruce had 178 with the Bills. He had 200.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But he had 178 with the Bills. So
That's
only 100 behind Bruce.
Oh, if he would have played another 10, 15 years at a high pace.
Because if you remember, Aaron Shoble also retired early.
He did.
Like he was still younger when he decided to hang it up.
Well, this is why I keep telling you about debate, not to get off topic, but the whole 200 sack debate. Look how good Aaron Shoble was. He was a stud, but he couldn't stay longer than 8-9 seasons. Like that was it. Like that's the problem with that record. And I keep telling you. So look at this guy. Did everything. Was a beast. 78, 100 short. He would have never gotten it. He had to quit. He had to retire. Body probably gave up on him, and that's a brutal sport.
His body didn't give up on him. If you remember at the end, they talked him into coming back in 09, and then in 2010 he just decided to hang it up.
Well, I'm saying like sometimes your family, your body, like you just don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, he had other interests.
Injuries.
Yeah, he had other interests outside
besides getting beat up and playing for a bad.
Well, I mean, he was playing for bad teams over and over. It's hard to put yourself.
Yeah, but he could have went somewhere. He could have went somewhere else. My point, like you could. There is players that
he's a loyal guy. He was a loyal guy.
He was good for him. I don't know why. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I love Buffalo Bills, but these players have there's no true loyalty. Let's be real.
From a business side.
Leave right. Exactly. When it comes down to it, these guys this is a business, right? Like they're out to make money and to
as much money as they can before their time is up.
Because they're taking CTE's real, all that stuff's real. Like their body's taking damage. This has to be all. It can't be for nothing.
Yeah.
So if you're staying with a bad team for like this long,
your whole career,
Kyle
Williams did it, and it paid off for him at the end because he got
it
to
did.
play in the playoffs.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But still, geez, rough. Rough.
Yep.
All right. Anything else on Shoble?
Move on.
All righty. We're going to get to number 25 now. Number 25, Nate Odoms.
Nate Odoms played from 1987 to 1993. He was a cornerback. Second-team All-Pro selection in 1993. Two-time Pro Bowl selections 92 and 93. Member of the Bills all-time team. Ranks 5th in team history in interceptions with 26. A fantastic corner, you know.
Yep.
Going back to what Chewy was saying. Chewy had put up about Shoble. He didn't realize his numbers were so good. He's like, I didn't realize how good he was.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he really was. Nate Odoms is kind of an underrated corner. Like when I think of all the greats in my time, because 87 to 93 was right during that Super Bowl era. I was still young, you know. Those Super Bowl runs were kind of when I was really getting into football. You know, I was 10 during the first one. You know, it was like from my 10 to 13 years when they were there.
I was in middle school. I don't remember my age, but I was young.
Yeah, it's like my 10 to 13 years. So, you know, Odoms was good. I don't remember him as much as I remember some of the other ones that we've talked about.
Yeah.
You know, because those were my early years. But his numbers just prove out. You know, he was a fantastic.
He was
corner.
he was
those teams were dominant those years.
Dude,
I can't believe we didn't win one. Like as much as as dominant as we were,
Mikey, I'll be honest with you, because I've been watching for since '89. Like the one Super Bowl was the Giants. That was the one we should have won. I think it changes. If we win that first one, who knows what happens with the other ones? See,
it's the butterfly
effect.
So.
It may be, but I don't think so. I think that you got to really, I'm a realist, right? Like I after the fact, you know what I mean? Like during the season, we can all say, oh, we're better than you. But if you really look back at some of these teams that we lost Super Bowl, except for the Giants, the Redskins were just that year was a special year for them. They had that. I don't know what it was. It was just
lightning in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle, and they still had like Art Monk. They still had like special players there.
Wiggins.
And Ripon was just a lucky year. He had
because he never reproduced.
Never. It was
lightning in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle. But they were going to beat
that
us.
Ravens team. They had a fantastic defense, but that offense was just a lightning in a bottle offense.
Exactly. Exactly my point. Even with Tampa, the year they won with their, I think it was Brad Johnson or whatever, or whoever their quarterback was at the time.
Yeah.
That was just lightning one of those things.
Great defense with a lightning in the bottle on offense.
Yeah, offense did just enough. So, but with Redskins though, I think they were just well rounded. And then you got Dallas, who was just, you're talking about our team. If you really look at our team and Dallas
was just a monster.
They were stacked, just like we were stacked from offense and defense. But I think what made them a little bit more special was their offensive line. Their offensive line was just.
I mean, we had a really good offensive line.
Yeah, but they
had Hall of Famers,
right? Like, yeah, they were like no joke, and it was meant to be for them. And like I said, the Giants Super Bowl loss was the team that we had.
Yeah.
We should have won. But anyways, Nate Odoms, I remember him clearly. Unbelievable talent. He kind of reminds me of Trey a little bit, as he wasn't like this super interception guy, but he was good. Like he could ball hawk. He'll get his picks here and there.
26.
Yeah, but and he's also 87 through 93. I'm just saying, like that's not that crazy if you average it out. I'm not saying it's bad numbers.
I mean, it's 5th in team history. We've had a lot of corners.
Well, yeah, but either way, he was a solid player. I just remember his rookie cards. I remember getting his cards all the time. But solid player, man, and another player
deserving of the top 25. Deserving of the top 25.
100% deserving of the top 25. All right, moving on, Mikey. We're going to number 24. Number 24, London Fletcher.
London Fletcher, years from 2002 to 2006, linebacker, ranks 4th in the team history with 730 tackles. His season single tackle high was 157, 104 solo in 05. He had 730 tackles, 14.5 sacks, 5 picks, 5 forced fumbles, 7 recoveries in his 5 years. He had 730 tackles in 5 years. The dude was a tackling machine, and 0 Pro Bowls, 0 All-Pro nods. The most underrated linebacker ever to play in football.
borderline Hall of Famer. Probably should be in the Hall of Fame.
With no recognition his entire career.
Yeah. He was, he was unbelievable in Washington. He was unbelievable.
Everywhere he went.
In Buffalo, when he left us, I forget where he went, but he was still good with them. He was with, we had Tikio Spikes at the time, guys. And by the way, and maybe some of you guys might be upset that Tikio's not on the list, but Tikio had really one good season with us, and he did okay. I'm not saying he had a bad seasons, but he started to go down a little bit. He had injuries and stuff like that.
Once he got hurt, he just wasn't the same.
But man, with him and Tikio the first year, I remember they paired him up.
They were so good.
Nasty,
so good.
bro. Nasty together. And London Fletcher is just a good guy too, by the way. Like besides football, he's like a good human off the field. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So stand-up guy. Tackling machine, did not miss tackles. You could trust this guy. He didn't really get hurt. Love London Fletcher. And like I said, borderline Hall of Famer, in my opinion.
730 tackles in 5 years.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
That's why. Hey, Joey's in here. Hey, Joey, I haven't seen you in a minute, man. Joey, just like to TKO Spikes. Yeah, man. I love Spikes. He was like one of my favorite players when he first got here. I always wanted the Spikes jersey, and I can never find one. Can't find it. Just cannot find it. All right, we're going to move on to number 23, Mikey. Number 23, Stu Barber.
Stu Barber, years 1961 to 1969. He was an offensive tackle. Another bookend for the Bills in the top, 30. Three-time all AFL selection, 63, 64, and 66. Five-time AFL All-Star, 63 to 67. Began the career, actually, his rookie year, he was a linebacker and then switched to left tackle in 62 and remained there until he retired. Became a Bills scout, later served as the assistant GM, and then the GM of the Buffalo Bills from 79 to 82. A guy who played here and went into the front office.
Right. Yeah. Like, you don't see that often. Like,
no, you don't.
Right. Like maybe Mike Ditka, right, as a coach at the Bears, but no, man, this once again, I don't know anything about this guy. I'm going to be real with you guys. All we know is about what we can pull up on stats. But AFL, I know we're in the NFL. AFL was legit. It was not like a bull crap XFL thing. If you were an all-pro, an all-star in the AFL 5 times, that means you were the man there. And they were just head-to-head with the NFL, so they merged.
Yeah.
So this guy clearly was unbelievable talent. And not only unbelievable talent, probably smart as heck to become a GM later in his life.
When he finished playing, in the research I found out, I didn't put it on here, but when he finished playing, he actually became a coach. He was an offensive line coach for a few years before switching into the front office and becoming a scout, and then later assistant GM and then GM. So the guy is crazy smart, crazy talented. If you're an all AFL selection, that's being like a first team all pro.
Yeah.
If you're an all star, it's being like a Pro Bowl. Exactly. So, it basically was a 3-time all pro and a 5-time Pro Bowler.
Right. Which is unbelievable.
It's crazy.
What a weird thing to go to linebacker to offensive tackle too.
Right.
It's so weird, man.
Left tackle, from linebacker to left tackle.
Golly. All right. We're going to be moving on. Number 22. Coming at number 22, James Lofton.
James Lofton, years was 1989 to 1992, wide receiver. Hall of Fame inductee in 2003, Pro Bowl selection in 1991. Member of the Bills all-time team. He ranks 12th in team history amongst receivers with 2736 receiving yards and 10th in touchdowns with 21. And this was the end of Lofton's career. He was actually made many Pro Bowls and all pros when he was with the Packers. Yep. And then he came to the Bills right as much like the Stefan Diggs thing. He came here, Stefan Diggs came, and then the offense just clicked. He'd be fantastic number 2 to Andre Reid. Was a Hall of Famer before he got here and just continued it during our Super Bowl runs. So
yeah, 100%.
He did, Chewy. Absolutely, bud.
Yeah, he we got him in the later stages of his career. But he's still produced he's kind of produced his first 2 years here. He's started dwindling down a little bit towards the end, but he was a great, who else to have a better receiver next to Reid than a future Hall of Famer who's been there, done that, right? Because Reid came out in 88, 89, I believe, as a rookie. So what a great guy to have next to you, a guy that's already been there, done that, and James Lofton. And then you got the Jim Kelly, Thurmans. I mean, wow, man, that was an unbelievable team. James Lofton was really, really good. And it just, he was older at that time, you know.
Yeah, although he doesn't look like he has a ton of stats wise with Buffalo. He changed our offense. He helped change 100%. The offense, which is why he deserves to be in the top 25.
Yeah, the stats aren't there because you got to remember, like I said, you know, his stats are there in total in his career.
Yeah.
But here is a little different. But what he did, like Mikey said, it was more than that. He did
change culture. He helped change culture. Brought
everything.
Along.
He was still a hell of a player. He was still he still put up numbers. I think in 1999 he had a good season. It just started.
Yeah, the 91 season he was in the Pro Bowl.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So yeah, he did get voted to the member of the Bills all-time team for a reason.
Exactly. And he's number 22 on our list for a reason.
Yep.
All right, going on number 21. Number 21, Stefan Diggs.
Stefan Diggs came to us in 2020. Still here today. Just got paid. Wide receiver. First team All-Pro selection in 2020. Two-time Pro Bowl selection in 20 and 21. Holds single-season records in catches with 127. And yards with 1,535, tied for second in TDs with 10. Currently ranks 15th in team history with 230 catches, 14th in yards with 2,760, and 15th in TDs with 18. He holds all these records in 2 years.
Yeah,
in 2 years. He's going to shatter all the records ultimately when it's all said and done. If he plays out his current contract, he's going to break all those records.
It's the Andre Reid. I think he has, if I'm not mistaken, a little over 14,000 yards. He's a little bit to go, Mikey.
No, I know.
I'm not saying he won't get there. But he's definitely going to break records. But the yards are going to be tough. He's really going to have to stick around here a little bit.
Well, that's what I said. If he plays out the rest of his contract.
If he plays out his deal and continues to
put up seasons like he is.
Yeah, play the way he's been playing. Yeah, I can see him definitely climbing up the board. I don't know if he'll get to the Reid or Molds spot, but
I can see him getting to the Molds. I don't know if he gets to the Reid, because he spent 6 years with Minnesota. You know, so
right.
And Reid spent most of his career, his whole career here. So, you know, I don't know if he'll ever catch that. It really depends on how great of seasons he has. If he can put more seasons together like he did today or the last 2 years, he'll have a shot. But,
we'll see what happens.
He broke all the season single records.
Now, I know he'll beat the record. He's going to do it. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. The Stevie Johnson, which is the 3 straight 1,000 yard receiving years. This will be his 3rd year. I know he's going to get it. So, he won't beat it. He'll tie it this season, and I believe he'll beat it the following because he is a 1,000-yard receiver. I can't see him. Honestly, I don't see him under 1,000. It's just really, I guess now it just boils down to how long he's going to play in Buffalo for, and if injuries eventually take effect.
Yeah, we'll see he just signed the new contract, so he's here.
No, I know,
for 100%,
which is great. Yeah, I was all on board on
give the man his money. He's worth every freaking penny that we're paying.
100%. I actually got a clip here of Stefan. I'm going to play that for you guys, man.
Number 1 player in the NFL right now.
Touchdown, Buffalo. Stefan Diggs, touchdown.
I told you he can't stop. Let's go. He can't stop.
Would I be biased if I said Stefan Diggs?
Just the energy he brought to our locker room was so contagious.
Hey, that's how you ground one out, all right? Next play. Your next play, your best play.
From getting him, the entire team changed.
He's one of the best receivers in the league, and if you need a play, you have Stefan Diggs to throw the ball to.
Stefan Diggs was wide open. Touchdown, Buffalo.
I had some fun plays, but the most rewarding play for me and Knox had like a play against San Fran when I cut the guy. I was super excited for him. I was trying to get him in the paint. So that was a pretty good play for me. One of the most, for me, not more so about me, about my teammate.
Best blocker we got. Oh, that.
Beasley in motion. Allen Lofton looking at Diggs, going to Diggs. Diggs got it. Buffalo touchdown. Stefan Diggs. Really good on really good. And Diggs wins that one.
Really nice route by Diggs. His transition skills are so good. Makes it look like it's just a little slant. Nope, foot in the ground.
Now first and goal, Allen keeps. And throws. It is caught for the touchdown. Stefan Diggs able somehow to keep his feet in bounds.
Bro, he's such a great route runner.
Dude, he put Lattimore in a blender.
Oh, and Lattimore's really good, bro.
I know.
Like, he's no like slouch. Like, bro, he is to me still. I think he's the best route runner in football. I still think Stefan Diggs is the best route runner, and that's why he's number 21 on this list, including because everything is done already in the short time that he's been here. It's wild. Like Mikey said, this is crazy numbers in a short period of time with a quarterback he's never, that he just met his first year, 2020, and he was already I think he led the league that season in receptions, yards, and catches.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm right there, 3 categories.
Well, he led
in 2020.
Receptions is catches. So receptions and
yards. I'm sorry, it was 3 categories though. It was receptions.
No, it was
yards,
just the 2. It was just the 2.
I heard 3.
No, because Cooper Kupp was the Triple Crown winner this year for the first time.
Oh, okay. I thought he had 3, so it was 2.
No, he had 2. He had 2.
Okay.
But he was electric in his first year with us, and then they scaled it back a little bit last year and watched other guys take over. But Dawkins says it the best in that clip. He changed the team when he came here.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%.
Joey I like what Joey says here. Joey comes in and says he's a hell of a receiver. I hope Davis can do what he needs to do because Stefan disappears when he gets double teamed like anybody would. And I don't think he disappears. I think he likes to take the coverage and open it up for his teammates. If you listen to anything he said today in his press conference, he talks about, I'm not worried about numbers. I don't have, individual goals. I have team goals.
Mm-hmm.
He in that clip that you played, he talked about what's his favorite moment. It's making a block for Knox to get him in the end zone. He's all about making guys around him better.
Yeah, that's all he wants. He's not. That's what was funny to me when we traded for him.
Because they talked about how much he was.
He's a me guy.
He's gonna hate Josh Allen. He didn't like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Vikings fans were like, "Oh, he's a me guy. He's a cancer in the locker room." I'm like, okay, well, let's see.
He was misunderstood. Maybe it was the culture. Maybe the coach wasn't right.
Exactly.
Because he's been nothing but class since he's walked through the doors.
No,
within Buffalo.
He's a captain for a reason, bro. So,
yep.
All right, moving on. Number 20, Fred Smurless.
Yeah, Fred Smurless. Years 1979 and 1989. He was a nose tackle, 2-time All-Pro selection, first team in 82, second team in 83, 5-time Pro Bowl selection, 80 through 83, and then again in 88. Bills Wall of Fame inductee in 2001, member of the all-time Bills team. His 162 games played ranks 4th amongst defensive line in Bills history. The dude was an animal.
Yeah, big dude too.
Yeah,
big dude. He's on the Wall of Fame for a reason. 5-time Pro Bowl, 2-time All-Pro. Dude was legit, and he was a beast on the field. A little before my time. I started in 89, so I caught the end of his career.
Yep.
But yeah, man, his stats, everything that he's did proves why he is on the Wall of Fame, or the Buffalo Bills Wall of Fame. And yeah, man, just a tough dude, man. See if you got comments.
Chewy comes in and says he bench presses 475-pound bench press out of Boston. Fred Smurless. Just an animal.
Chewy coming in with some. Chewy. You always come in with some stats I would never, or things I would never know. Like,
yeah, I love it.
I love it because I would never. I would never know this. So thank you for that. I honestly love it.
Yeah,
man.
and Joey's comment talks about Stefan Diggs. You know, he runs routes in sand so that he can be pinpoint precise and accurate.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, on the beach. Yeah, I love that too. A lot of players are doing that now. Going on the beach, which is smart.
Yeah,
real smart. All right, going into number 19 now. Coming at number 19, Reuben Brown.
Reuben Brown played from 1995 to 2003. He was offensive guard, 4-time second-team All-Pro selection, 98 through 2000, and then again in 02. 8-time Pro Bowl selection. From 1996 to 2003, he made the Pro Bowl every year. Member of the NFL's 1995 All-Rookie team and a member of the Bills All-Time team. And we talked about this before the show, Tommy. I think he could have been ranked higher for us. After looking at it, maybe we did him a disservice. Reuben Brown was a stud.
I think he's one of those guys, once again, that get lost in the shuffle of the drought years. Now, mind you, it wasn't really the drought years because he did go to two. We didn't make the playoffs in 98, 99.
Was 97 and 99, right?
No, 3 actually, because we made the playoffs in. I want to say we made the playoffs in 95. I got to recheck that, but I think we did. I think it was Kelly's last year. We did terrible. You got to check that, but I know we made
96 was Kelly's last year, right?
Eric Mull was correct. He was there. So, but I want to say we did make the playoffs 95. I could be wrong though. But for sure too. Anyways, man, he was a dog. I know a lot of I know a lot of fans get on him for the whole. He had that whole thing when he talked to the Dolphins player about leaving Buffalo. But man, can you blame the guy? He put everything. He did everything. He gave everything, and he was phenomenal out there. 8-time Pro Bowl. I mean, the guy was just legit. He was the best in his position every season when he was in
Came
Buffalo.
in 95. Started making Pro Bowls in 96 and then stopped until he left. His last year was 03 with us. He made the Pro Bowl, signed with Chicago, and then made a Pro Bowl with Chicago.
Yes. He's really underrated. If we're going to be real.
Yeah.
He's like borderline.
He's
look
top
at that
20.
stat.
He's underrated.
That is like borderline Hall of Fame numbers there.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me 8-time Pro, that's wild. 4 times, like those are great stats, man. And you got to remember, it's offensive guard, so it's not like any other position, like wide receiver, running back, where they have like touchdowns, this, that. It's offensive guard. All they can get is these Pro Bowls and these All-Pro selections.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it all. Member of the rookie team, Pro Bowl, All-Pro. Like there isn't anything he didn't
member of the all-time team,
right? Except for not win a Super Bowl, and that's not his fault. That was a terrible Buffalo Bills poorly ran team. I do got a clip of Reuben Brown. It's very tough, by the way, to find clips of offensive linemen, but here you go.
Lineman Reuben Brown was selected to the Pro Bowl for the 7th consecutive year as a Bill, a record surpassed only by Bruce Smith. Throughout 2002, Brown inspired his teammates to come out fighting.
Let's go. Y'all know what's up. We've been working for this. We've been working for this. Get into it. Get into it. Up to your damn elbows. You see what I'm saying? Be a good team. You'll be a good team. We're a good team. Let's go prove it, baby. Let's get it on today. Victory on 3. 1, 2, 3. Victory.
Yeah.
The guard being the guy who speaks.
Right.
The left guard was the man.
Dude.
He was so
You should
good.
probably be higher in this list. We'll be real with you. But
Earl comes in with a great chat. He did hit the Super Bowl with the Bears.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. That's when the Bears lost to the Colts, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
I think so.
Is that the Devin Hester touchdown for the very first play? Because that's the only thing I could think of around that time. Has to be the Peyton Manning first Super Bowl when they went. So because the Bears haven't won, or haven't been back. So wow, interesting. It is interesting.
Man,
all right. Anything
nugget,
else on Reuben?
Great nugget, Earl. Appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
No, we can move on.
All right, cool. All right, going to number 18. Number 18, Joe Ferguson.
Joe Ferguson played from 1973 to 1984. quarterback. Bills Wall of Fame inductee in 1995. His 164 games played ranks number 1 amongst quarterback in team history. Ranks second in team history in passing yards, 27,590, completions 2,188, attempts 4,166, and touchdowns 181. However, they did not win. I went back and I looked to try to figure out. I'm like, well, he never made any all pros, never made any Pro Bowls. It's because they didn't win. They weren't a real good team back then. I know, wins aren't a QB stat, but he had a losing record as a quarterback. Even though it was as good as he was, the team wasn't very good. So he was. I mean, look where he ranks on our list. I mean, ranks second in team history in all those yards.
Tells you a lot that you needed to know about the quarterbacks that have been through Buffalo. But once again, a player, unfortunately, he wasn't around. I was not, watching football then, but he's on the Wall of Fame for a reason. He probably did everything he could on some bad teams. And he still ranks second in team history in passes. So you got to give him some kind of love for that. And that's why, and he is on the Wall of Fame for a reason. So that's why he is number 18. If Buffalo, the Bills organization thinks highly of him, then we're going to think highly of him, regardless of how, the records of the team he played for was.
Chewy comes in with a great quote. He went to the same high school as Terry Bradshaw.
Oh, wow. Okay. Terry Bradshaw, the same guy who said Josh Allen will never get better in completion percentage. There
was articles written about Josh Allen. How
I know.
He succeeds. He breaks math.
I'll never forget that I was watching a Sunday game and it was on Fox and Terry Bradshaw was just bashing Allen. And I'm like, oh, okay, buddy. All right. Moving on here to number 17, guys. Coming in at number 17, Jim Richter.
Jim Richter played from 1980 to 1993. He was an offensive guard. Second team All-Pro selection in 1991, two-time Pro Bowl selection in 91 and 92. Bills Wall of Fame inductee in 2004. Member of the Bills all-time team. His 203 games played ranks third in franchise history, as does his 14 seasons played with the Bills. Earlier we were talking about Reuben Brown. And, I thought, that's somebody who should have been ranked higher. I could see him sliding in here as much as I appreciate what Richter did. And he did fantastic.
I agree.
He's a Wall of Fame inductee. How's Reuben Brown not a Wall of Fame inductee?
And that's what we'll get to later.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like
preaching for.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you, Mikey, on this. This guy's a hell of a player. Don't get me wrong. He is definitely top 20 or around this range. But come on, let's be real here. Rupert Brown, for what he did compared to what he did, and I'm not saying Richter's bad. Richter was just on
the Super Bowl teams. That's what it was.
Right. He was very good.
Success. Yeah,
right.
He's very good.
But as an individual player, dominating your spot, dominating your position, Reuben Brown was the guy. Let's be real. Yeah. And he definitely probably 100% should be on the. He should be talked about on the Wall of Fame for sure.
100%. The difference is the team success. Jim Richter absolutely deserves being in the top 20. He's a fantastic guard. Was part of those Super Bowl teams. He was there for 14 years, played all these games. He was All Pro. He was Pro Bowl. That offensive line we had was great.
Yeah,
man. All those guys are popping up on here.
End of the day, though, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Yeah. It is kind of about the Super Bowls, right?
Team success.
Team success, correct.
Kind of plays.
It sucks. It does kind of suck sometimes because it is a little unfair.
Yep.
Like Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl, and I consider him, even though I'm a Bills fan, he's
one of the greatest ever.
One of the greatest ever, and never won a Super Bowl. So there's players like that, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And sometimes players might get a little ahead of another player on a list because they accomplished
because they had
they had team success, right? They have a NBA ring or NFL ring or ML, but it doesn't mean they're better than the guy that was unbelievable, but this team just gonna get it together. But hey, listen, it is what it is. He's definitely deserves to be around this area, 25 or whatever.
Dude was a awesome offensive guard. and helped us with those Super Bowl seasons. So
100%.
appreciate him.
All right, let's get to number 16. Coming at number 16, Cornelius Bennett.
Biscuit played from 1987 to 1995, linebacker. First team All-Pro selection in 88, 5-time Pro Bowl selection 88 and 90 to 93. Member of the Bills all-time team, ranks 5th in team history with 52.5 sacks.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say about the guy? The guy is a legend in Buffalo.
Yeah.
He really is. At the end of the day, he was one of those guys who just got better and better and better as his career went. Loved him.
Yeah, he was part of that. Darryl Talley, Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett, Steve Tasker.
Hansen.
Oh, man. I love Bennett. I love Tal. I love all, bro, I love those teams, man. I have so much love for those teams. But, yeah, he was a dog. His numbers speak for themselves. By the way, real quick, I had the comment here by Joey. I'm a Hurricane fan, and I'm not being biased on this. And this is my feelings on the whole Devin Hester Hall of Fame talk. I believe he's a Hall of Famer.
Who?
And the reason Devin Hester.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'll get to Tasker in a minute, but the reason why I think Devin Hester is a Hall of Famer is because, yeah, he wasn't like this. I believe he played corner as well, right? Wide receiver or wide receiver. I'm sorry, wide receiver.
They tried to play him at corner, it didn't work.
Yeah, and then they
back wide receiver.
Then they tried wide receiver, right? But he was mainly a kick return and punt returner. But he was the best ever to do it, in my opinion. And his numbers speak for themselves. He is the best at, he was the one guy that you would not kick to. Like, for no circumstance, you do not kick to this guy because he's going to return it probably for a touchdown. He was that good. And he was good for a long time. There's been a lot of kick returners in this league that were like, oh, my God, that guy's great. And he was only good for 2 seasons. Remember the guy for the Chiefs, Mikey?
Dante Hall.
Dante Hall. Really good, but he wasn't good like Devin Hester good. Devin Hester was good for years. So yes, I think Devin Hester definitely should be Hall of Fame, and I think
Steve Tasker should be too. When you are the gold standard at your position, and say what you want, Steve Tasker made special team positions a thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
100%. No, Steve Tasker should be there as well.
Yeah,
Steve Tasker.
They both should be.
He was just a dog, and that's another position, kind of like the Hester position, special teams, where it's kind of underlooked, undervalued, when it comes down to Hall of Fame voting.
When you're
Steve Tasker was the best. Yeah, he was the best at his position, and I think he should be in the Hall of Fame just because of that.
Yeah, when you're the gold standard at your position in the entire NFL.
Doesn't matter what the position is.
Exactly.
Kicker, punter, you deserve that.
When everyone says, oh, this guy reminds me of Steve Tasker. Oh, this guy reminds me of Devin Hester. Oh, this guy reminds me of X. And they're thinking back.
Yeah.
You should be, you change the game.
Janikowski might get in there eventually. Janikowski was the guy in kicking. That dude was unbelievable. You know what I'm just saying? I know it's off topic, but that's another, kickers are another position where it's but dude, he was the best in his position for years and years. Just like Tucker now. Tucker took over that Janikowski role. But man.
Oh, it went Janikowski, then it went Vinatieri.
Vinatieri, you're right. Exactly. But it is.
But I mean, if you look at it, getting back on topic, Cornelius Bennett,
yeah.
he was another one of those legendary Bills guys during the Super Bowl runs who was just an animal on defense. There's so much love for this guy and for those players during that era. He's definitely deserving of the top 20.
Yep. All right, moving on. Going to number 15. Number 15, Tom Sestik.
Tom Sestik, years was from 1962 to 1968, so he had a short time. Defensive tackle, first team member of the all-time AFL team. So they had a first and second team all-time AFLs, and he was a part of the first team all-AFL team. 4-time All-Pro and AFL All-Star, 62 to 65. Bills Wall of Fame member in 1987, and he was a member of the Bills all-time team. Way before my time, but man, after looking at everything he did, this guy must have been a monster because he only played a short period.
Yeah.
Because he didn't go on and play for other people. He played one season after the Bills. That's it.
I will say this. On the new stadium they're building, They better have like a gigantic wall because there's so many players that still aren't on that wall of fame should be there. And it's like, no offense to this guy, but you got to remember when they probably started doing the wall of fame, it was like old timers involved, right? Like he
was done in '87 before.
That's what I mean. Like, right. So you got like Ralph Wilson. At the time he's like, you got to remember he loved these guys. Like these are. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying
Ralph came from the AFL. Like he owned the team back then.
Right. So the guys that aren't on the list, right, that I feel like should be like a Reuben Brown, possibly Eric Moulds, 100%. They eventually got to get in because it's like, okay, you got these guys on. And I get it. It was in your era, but come on, man. It's time to like move on. And that's why I'm saying, like, you better create a huge wall in the new stadium because there's not going to think about it.
They shouldn't have a wall. They should have like a little museum that has all of them.
Something. That's fine too. But either way, you got to start honoring the guys.
Some of the later guys.
Exactly.
The mid to late 90s guys.
That's all my point is. You know what I mean? It's time.
I know you want your guy to get on, Tommy.
He's going to. He deserves it, but we'll talk about that.
We know.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. We're going to move on to number 14 now, Mikey. Coming in number 14. We all know him. Cookie Gilchrist.
Cookie Gilchrist, 62-64. He was a fullback, 3-time All-Pro and AFL All-Star, 62-64. Led the NFL in rushing in 1962 and 1964. Tied for third in team history with 31 rushing touchdowns. Ranks 10th in team history with 3,056 rushing yards. And he only played 3 seasons for Buffalo, and then we traded him to Denver, and he was an All-Pro there too.
Right. He was a hell of a player.
He only played like 6 years total.
We don't keep running backs long in Buffalo.
We don't.
I mean, except for Fred Jackson. Like Fred stayed around, but
Thurman and Fred.
Yeah, Thurman too. You're right. Thurman Thomas too. I apologize, but generally, no. Even O.J. Simpson didn't have like a long stint here. They all typically move on relatively quick. But yeah, this guy was a dog at his position.
I can't
long time ago.
I struggle with the fact that he was a 3-time All-Pro, led the team in rushing in his first year and his third year, and then we traded him to Denver. Why the heck do you trade your All-Pro running back or fullback?
You got to talk to our late owner.
I'm like, what was going on back then? Was it a money thing?
They're $500 a week. I have no idea. I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't have much to say about him. I just know he was really, really dominant at his position, but he didn't stick around long, and now that's because we got rid of him. So, anything else on Cookie?
Yeah, Chewy comes in and says, "Looky, here comes the Cookie." The Bills trade back then.
Oh God! All right, moving on. Coming in at number 13, we all know him, Kyle Williams.
We all know him and love him. Kyle Williams played from 2006 to 2018, defensive tackle. Second team All-Pro selection 2010, 6-time Pro Bowl selection in 10, 12 through 14, 16, and 18. Ranks 5th in team history with 48.5 sacks. His 183 games is the 7th most in team history and 2nd most among defensive linemen. He also is one of only 6 players to play 13 seasons for the Bills. Played his entire career here. The dude, it was the heart and soul of the turnaround, and I love the guy. The guy.
Yeah, he was like that was one player.
A 5th round pick.
I never had anything bad. Yeah, I never had anything bad to say about Kyle. Like there's always a player like you'll like, but you'll say, hey, he needs to improve. I don't know. Kyle Williams was that guy. He was a good guy off the field.
He was a lunch pail guy.
He was a leader on the field. Players respected him. They respected what he had to say. And I'm just so happy he got to experience Josh Allen as well, right? He got to play with Josh in 2018. He got to the playoffs in 2017. Thank God for that. I'm glad he got to feel what it's like.
Not only that, but he got to experience it with his boys.
And his kids were in a locker. Bro, that was that moment. I'll never forget that moment either. I was home watching, but it was just a special moment. I'm glad because it wasn't supposed to be, but it was just, I guess, supposed to be in a weird, you know what I mean? Like it was just fate for him to get there because it wasn't going to happen in 2018, right? Like And it wasn't, like I said, 2017 was more like McDermott just got there. Let's just let Tyrod play his last year. And it just wasn't supposed to be that way. And it turned out it worked out. and I'm so happy for him.
He was fantastic.
And a hell of a player.
Bro. Joey comes in and says the Patriots and and a couple other teams, including the Raiders. Raiders is another team that should be thanking Ralph Wilson, because if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have a team because they were bankrupt and he lent them money. Yeah, because Al Davis was that way too.
AFL.
Yeah, during the AFL days, Ralph Wilson lent a few of those owners money back then to keep them afloat. Ultimately, but okay, moving on.
All right, coming at number 12, Kent Hall.
Kent Hall played from 1986 to 1996. He was a center, part of that legendary Bills offensive line in the Super Bowl days. They were all seemed to be in the top 20. 4-time All-Pro selection. First team All-Pro in 90 and 91. Second team All-Pro in 89 and 90. 3-time Pro Bowl selection, 88 to 90. Member of the Bills all-time team and a member of the Bills Wall of Fame inductee in 2002. Was the pivot for that offensive line. He was the man.
Dude, once again, through the Super Bowl years, just a dog at a position. He was the guy. He was one of the best to do at his position. 3-time Pro Bowler, Bills all-team, Bills Wall of Fame inductee. Well-deserved, everything. 4-time All-Pro, first team. I mean, this dude was the
first team 2 years, second team 2 years.
Yeah, like he was the guy.
And he got better as he went. That's the crazy part. And he made first team All-Pro, but didn't make the Pro Bowl in 91.
Protecting Jim Kelly, right?
Clearing holes for Thurman.
Yeah, the center position is so important for quarterbacks, guys.
That's why you got to love Mitch Morse.
Yes, 100%. And I was tough on Mitch Morse when he first came here. Yeah, I have definitely turned the page when it comes to Mitch Morse on what he provides for this team. So shout out to Mitch
Chewy's
Morse.
Right. Chewy says he was the smartest center ever. I believe Jim Kelly has told stories about how he would go call a play at the line and he would turn around and say, "Are you sure about that?" Quick question, Kelly's calls at the line.
All right, moving on. Coming in, number 11, my favorite player ever, Eric Moulds.
Eric Moulds played from 1996 to 2005, wide receiver. 2-time second team All-Pro, 98 and 02. 3-time Pro Bowl selection, 98, 2000, and 2002. Member of the Bills all-time team. He was the NFL part of the NFL All-Rookie team in 1996. He ranks second to Andre Reid in team history for games played by wide receiver, 154, receptions, 675, yards, 9,096, and touchdowns, 48. He's the second best receiver in Bills history.
There's no doubt about it. My favorite player for a reason. He did make the playoffs a few times. After that, he stuck around on some terrible teams. And by the way, even the playoff years that we made, the team was a disarray. They didn't know what quarterback to play. It was the whole Rob Johnson, Doug Flutie mess, the whole mess of the head coach and the owner. It was a disaster. It was just it wasn't going good there in Buffalo. And this guy stuck around 10 plus seasons through chaos. Let's be real. I do got a clip of Eric Moulds I want to play real quick for you guys. Here we go.
Price.
In 2002, Eric Moulds played to the power of 10. 10 touchdowns, 100 receptions, 1,000 watts of explosiveness.
What a leaping reception along the sideline. What a tremendous throw and catch. Picture perfect throw. Eric Moulds goes all the way.
Moulds proved to be one of the league's most elusive wide receivers.
First down and 10. The fake to Henry, who offers the block. Van Pelt going deep for Moulds. Oh, what a catch! Touchdown!
Dude was out there making Odell catches.
Dude was TO before TO. He just wasn't on great teams. Really,
did you
like
see him
his size?
dragging Ty Law, who was a really good corner?
Mm-hmm.
Like he was nothing. So I pulled some stats up for you, Mikey. You may not know this, maybe you do, because you heard me. I do a lot of rants about Eric Moulds. So I just want to kind of yeah. So this is honestly, you got to take this in consideration when it comes to a receiver on a team. So he played 10 seasons for the Bills. We all know this. He had 6 starting quarterbacks. Okay. Jim Kelly, Todd Collins, Doug Flutie, Rob Johnson, Drew Bledsoe, and Kelly Holcomb. Right? He had 4 head coaches through his time in Buffalo. Marv Levy, Phillips, Williams, and Malarkey. He had 6 different offensive coordinators. 6. So you guys,
6 in 10 years.
That's 6 in 10 years, 4 head coaches, and 6 starting quarterbacks. You know how hard it is we're all talking about Diggs, and I love Diggs coming in with a new quarterback. You got to get him. This guy put up almost 10,000 yards in his career. He could have left anytime he wanted, because that was a disaster.
Tommy.
And he still put up numbers. And how this guy isn't on the Wall of Fame doing what he did with all that disarray is really it's not right. Like, honestly, it's sad. Like, he deserves there because he was the focal point every single season. He came to work and he did his job. He didn't bitch. He didn't want to trade. He just came to work and did his job. And it just, seeing all of that is crazy. And by the way, not to mention NFL record, 240 yards receiving in one game in the playoffs against the Miami Dolphins in 1999. That still stands today. That's unbelievable. Like, this guy was that good. And he deserves it.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this.
Go ahead.
Preaching to the choir, buddy. We have him ranked number 11.
This makes me mad. It makes me mad.
You're preaching to the choir, buddy. We have him ranked number 11th all time, Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, I think he should be in the top 10, but it's all good, brother.
Chewy, Mikey, bring Tommy back in. He gets passionate about his Eric Moulds takes.
You got to admit, though, that's wild. That's wild.
The dude was amazing. The dude was absolutely amazing.
And, bro, if you watch any of his highlights, Mikey, like no joke.
I don't have to watch his highlights. I watched them.
No, but I'm saying, but sometimes you forget. Like, and that's why I like to go back and look at these guys. He had, like, speed. Like, when you watch him, like, he's miles away, it seemed like, from corners. Like, he had, like, secret speed, whatever they want to call it. Like, he had that speed where it's like,
he was TO before TO. He was big, he was physical, he was fast. Like, he had everything you could want.
He had all the
problem was he didn't have a great quarterback to help him get into the Hall of Fame like TO did.
He didn't have a quarterback. He didn't have a head coach.
Yeah, he didn't have the system that TO had to get him into the Hall of Fame.
Correct. It's wild, bro. It really is wild. But there it is, guys. There it is. 30 through 11. Next week is going to be the final show.
The top 10.
The top 10, Mikey. And I'm sure you guys know there's already some players that you could think of off the top of your head that we haven't said yet.
Cough, cough, Bruce Smith. Cough, cough, Bruce Smith.
Jim Kelly.
Thurman Thomas.
Reid, let me see.
Let me think. Maybe he's named half of them.
Right. Yeah, now. But, that's still coming up next Monday. And then after that, me and Mikey are finally into training camp talk. And things are getting real. And pads are coming on.
Yeah. So before we move on, I want to go back to Chewy's question before we started. He said, "Who is the sleeper that's going to make the 53?"
Oh, that's right.
Question. I thought about it during the show as I was reading everything off. I'll tell you, I think it's going to be McLeod. I think he's going to sneakily get in.
He's been having a good camp too.
He's so far. I mean, it's only 2 days. But he's a guy who can play corner or safety. I have a feeling like if there's going to be a 53 that just sneaks in, I think it's going to be McLeod.
Okay. I'm going to say Austin. Tavon Austin.
Dude, would that be a?
It would be because you got to remember you got a lot of receivers now. You're going to have to cut somebody, right? you're not going to cut McKenzie. You just signed him. You're not going to cut Crowder, right? They're probably not going to cut Kumaro because they like Kumaro on special teams.
Yeah, I mean, to keep Austin, they're going to have to keep.
They're not going to cut the rookie. That's what I mean. So
Secure has been actually he's as advertised. His route running is as advertised.
Oh, dude, wait, I can't wait for his second year. Like that's what.
No, I can't wait to see some of these guys in a preseason game.
Oh no, preseason. Yeah, 100%. But I'm saying like now on the bubble, you got guys like Stevenson. We'll see. He is a lot, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now with Stevenson. Brandon Beane, he does stick with his picks. Like he does give them opportunity. But he was a 6th-round pick. But he has to ball out in preseason. Like he's going to have to really show that his kick returning ability has improved. He's gonna or punt return, whatever they decide to put him, because he's not. I don't think he's
gonna have to win it via returner.
He's not going to
make the team.
I think not going on the field as a receiver. Yeah,
I think 100%. Austin's the same way.
I think it's going to be it's going to be a race. But I think Austin, because of his past, like he already has experience, and I think Austin has something to prove. Maybe I think maybe Marquez is the odd man out and makes the practice squad. Well, we'll see.
I'm not sure Austin has a way to the roster, to be perfectly honest, because Secure is also returning kicks, and Cook is returning Secure's returning punts, and Cook is returning kickoffs. So
yeah, but this is now I can't. I don't think. See, the punt thing is different. The punt. And
how many receivers are you going to keep? You have Diggs, Davis,
that's tough.
McKenzie, Crowder, Shakir. Right. That's 5. If you keep Kumaro, that's 6. Are you keeping 7 to keep Austin?
I think you keep 7.
Then you have, if you go 7, you have to take away at another position.
Yeah, I know. I get that, but I think they keep. You can't have what's his name back there, Micah Hyde fielding punts.
No, but
later in the season. I'm just saying you can't. Yeah, but I don't know. He's gonna have, if Shakir wins that, man, he's gonna have to show out in preseason. They're gonna have to give him plenty of opportunity, because you saw how that went with Stevenson. They actually gave him an opportunity preseason. He did okay. He had the punt return for a touchdown, and you saw what happened. He got hurt, right? Yeah. Then he came in and it had that little problem there, and then boom, Micah Hyde. Next thing you know is fielding punt. And I don't know if they want that. Like I don't know if they want it, because man, I don't want Hyde back. I trust it, and I told you last season. Remember, I said, "Watch, you're going to put Hyde in and punt return to the playoff." Yeah. And sure enough, they did, because they don't want to risk it. But I think Austin's done that enough.
Austin has the fumbles, though. He has a lot of fumbles.
He did, but we'll see. I think this is a good battle.
It's like one of the few positions in on our team that is up in the air this training.
Yeah, you're 100% right, and that's why I think this is good. I'll tell you what, this is great for Stevenson, and this is great for Austin, because Austin, to me, the way he's talking, he has something to prove, right? Like, oh, the injuries are in the past. I still think I'm this guy. I still think I could be that guy. And then you got Stevenson going, hey, I feel like I could continue what I did in college. I just had bad luck my first year. I was hurt. I think I could bounce back and be that guy. So
listen,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I just want someone back there that can be consistent.
Yeah,
and won't turn the ball over. That's all I'm asking for.
See, punt return is different. I think the punt return is you got to be sure. Like that's the one thing I liked about when we had Andre Roberts. Roberts, even though he wasn't dynamic towards the end of his career,
he made fantastic decisions all the time.
He had always, like no matter what, I knew he was gonna make the right decision.
I wasn't worried, like, oh no, we're gonna give the ball right back.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we just want you to catch it and give the ball to Josh Allen.
He let the ball bounce at the 10 and it went to the 1. Like he was. Now kick returner is different though, Mikey. Now that is interesting, because if I'm the Bills, I'm having 2 guys back there. Like I would love if Stevenson and Austin was on the team and could return a kick, because then you never know. They can get really tricky with kick returns. If you got the special team guy, you could do a lot of multiple different plays there. You never know who's going to get the ball. Punt return is different. I think you got to have a really trustworthy guy, because you saw what happened. Remember, even a kick return. Look what happened to Isaiah in the one game against the Colts. Just dropped it. I mean, can't have that. can't do unforced turnovers. Yeah. That's crazy.
It'll be interesting to see how the roster breakdown is formed to get your 53.
There's going to be guys.
Are you going to have can you afford to just keep Kumaro only, you know, in there? Can you have a guy who's just a punt returner or kick returner?
I think there's going to be cuts that we're not going to like, but I can also see cuts happening where, if you remember when Andre Roberts got cut, and I was pissed. I remember
they signed him right back.
Yeah, and it was like almost like they told him, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do. Like we're gonna cut you, but we're gonna sign you right back." Like,
and they gave him some money on
exactly. I could see that. Yeah, I could see that happening, guys. So take a lesson learned from me. Don't get too worked up over maybe like somebody getting cut that you're like, "Oh my god, I didn't think it was gonna happen." Because they could just resign. It could just wait
a day or two to see if because they do cut guys to put guys on the IR and then they bring guys back.
Exactly. So don't get too worked up when you got a guy like, oh my God, we needed him, and I can't believe, because you never know. A day late, 2 days later, they're re-signing him.
I haven't heard that, Joey. Joey said he heard Austin might get cut before the first cut. I haven't heard that.
I didn't hear that either. Listen, I'm not going to comment. I mean, I'll comment. I'm commenting now, but I'm not going to get too like until pads come on, because right now, bro, honestly, you could look phenomenal and it means nothing. The pads aren't on. I think listen, when they put the pads on, I think it's a totally different, even for the players. I think they are on a whole nother level, bro. I'm talking about intensity, like everything. Like a guy may not be playing well right now because he can't wait to hit somebody. Like that's what he wants. So he's probably, who knows? You never know.
Day two. It's day two. We have a long way.
Let's wait. I say preseason. That's what, by second preseason, you know, at the end of that second game, you're gonna know what's going on. At least for cuts wise. You know,
two more questions.
Go ahead.
Two more questions that came in. The Bills signed a new offensive lineman. They did.
I heard about that.
It was in conjunction with the whole Roger Saffold injury. Brandon Beane talked about it. I think he's just a depth guy until the guy gets back, and then he'll probably go. And then thoughts on the punt god competition. There hasn't been a competition. The punt god has kicked a few of them, but he hasn't held the ball yet. Right. All the field goals have been done by Hack. So,
that's weird. You got to get him. I wonder what they're waiting on.
At some point, he's gonna have to hold if they find out if he's gonna.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, are they really gonna do that? Like
we're just waiting. We're just waiting.
Can you keep two punters?
Can you keep just a hold? Really?
Right? Like I don't see. There's no way in hell, man. But Hawk. Listen, not Hawk. Punt got a reason. He's making the team. I'm telling you right now. He's going to, unless he just is a total flop, meaning preseason is awful. That's what I mean. Like, I don't see it happening. So because I don't see that happening, there's no way they're going to keep it two punters.
Matt Perino said yesterday, because he did kick some, he said he started off a little shaky, but then he just started booming them.
I know. I saw one, which was odd. I know people were commenting because he kicked it at the 40, but he kicked it like 70, 80 yards out. And somebody was like, well, why was he, what was the point there? Because really in the net part of the kick, it's not a deep kick, right? Because now they get the ball at the 20. But maybe they were just having him do that just to see how far. I have no idea. But he's definitely going to have to work on, like we were talking about later. You know, like the hang time, the corner kicks, you know.
Which he has been. You have to remember, he's only punted 1 year. Right. He was a kicker before that.
Right.
You know, he punted a little bit in 19. He didn't punt it all in 20, and then he was a full-time punter in 21.
Yeah.
You know,
I think he's going to be fine. I just think, I think once things start getting revving up, especially preseason, you will see him, especially preseason. Think about it. Punter, who cares? They can have him out there the whole freaking game. You know what I mean? It's not like a quarter, you know, Josh Allen starter going to be out. It's not going to happen. You can leave Matt Ariza out there a whole game if you want. You know what I mean? Have him out there holding kicks a whole half, and then have Matt Hawk. Listen, here's the problem. I already know what Matt Hawk delivers. We all know Matt Hawk's been around, right? We know he's a good holder. Other than that, he's pretty bad at punting. Let's be real. He's not the greatest punter.
He's below average. Below average.
So there is no ceiling for him. This is it. This is what you get from Matt Hawk. We want to know what we get out of Matt Ariza, the punt guy.
Mm-hmm.
They need to really push him in preseason, Mikey, in my opinion. Okay. They need to have him hold the ball. I don't care if you go out there and just kick field goals the whole game.
They just haven't been back there yet.
Yeah.
Dean comes in and says Ariza actually punted one because I know there's a bunch of people out there watching from the 25 and he kicked it into the end zone.
Oh, see?
I mean, he has the leg for the Buffalo weather. That's what's so spectacular about him.
That's what they want him for.
Yeah.
That's 100%. When we're in our own end of the field, they want that ball going through the weather of Buffalo without a problem, because Matt Hawk obviously cannot deliver that at all.
Joey, we talked a little bit earlier. I know you came in late. We talked about Knox early, about him. He just bought a house here. I don't think he gets a contract before the season. I think it happens after the season. But I do think he's going to get a contract.
Chewy. Yeah, we're destined.
We're destined.
Jesus.
Yep.
But yeah, guys, this is a fun show, man. Once again, we appreciate you guys coming on board. Joey, Bills fan, 1970, Dean, everybody that came in. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Anybody watching later, appreciate it.
Justin,
like I said,
Earl.
And like I said, guys, Friday Night Lights will be back. The first week of preseason, we will be on Friday night,
August
12th. Yep, August 12th, and then we have a fantasy football show coming Saturday at 1 p.m. and that will start, I believe. What was the date on that, Mikey? August 20th.
I believe it was August. Yeah, I think it's the 20th.
Okay, so August 20th, and that will just be a fantasy football show in general. So if you're into fantasy football, definitely tune in to me, Mikey, and his father-in-law, stepdad. Yep. And that will be a really cool, unique, different kind of show. We will also be doing live post-game shows, 15 minutes after the Buffalo Bills game, no matter what day we play on, Sunday, Monday, Thursday. We will be live.
Saturday.
Yep, Saturday if that happens. So we got a lot going on, guys, and we hope you guys tune in. AFC East Shakedown, of course, as well. So once again, thank you.
Also, make sure to tune in to the other Buffalo Fambase shows. We have shows every night of the week. We're putting in a lot of fantastic work, a lot of great content, guys. Let's help blow this up. And
Zach Moss. Zach Moss has actually joined the Buffalo Fambase network. He has a podcast. I don't know the date and time yet. I don't know if that's set, but he is coming to the fan base. So look out for that as well. And yeah, we are joined up with fan base. So a lot of our content will be running on both Mafia Sports Report and the Buffalo fan base. So you can catch us on both. It's really up to you what you want to do, and on Twitter and on Facebook. So we are everywhere. So just keep on watching, guys. We appreciate your time. We appreciate everything. We know that you can watch somebody else, but you choose to watch us. So thank you very much. Other than that, Mikey, any last words?
Football's back. Football's back. I'm excited.
It is back. It is back. And I cannot wait, man. All right, guys. So Bills Mafia, #1. Go Bills. And we are out of here. Peace.
Go Bills.
And look at it go! He could go all the way! Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown!
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 hey, 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 hey. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. Go.
The Bills make me want to shout.
Go Bills.
Peace out. Go Bills.